Hey everybody, it's Party Elite. Welcome you to the 30th episode of our IXION Let's Play, where we're just about to go toe-to-toe with the Piranesi. Yes, that's me making an assumption. I mean, I'm aware that it's been dormant ever since we arrived in this system. I'm fairly certain it's been dormant for even longer than that, but let's be real here. The setup has been way too ominous for the Piranesi to just stay dormant. I'm fairly confident, with about 99% certainty, that the moment we engage with this event chain over here, the Piranesi is going to wake up, and things are going to start going downhill. Now, fortunately, we've done a lot of work to make sure that when that downhill journey begins, our starting point is fairly high up that hill, so we have a huge runway before we have to hit the panic button. I am, of course, talking about the fact that we have a surplus of pretty much every resource you could want a surplus of. We have drone jammers, we've even got alternate sources of power supply. Like, we're pretty well set up, so I'm feeling fairly comfortable about having to deal with the Piranesi. Now, I would very much love to be proven wrong. I would very much love to see that the Piranesi stays dormant and we don't have to worry about it, but I don't know. I got a gut feeling that things are about to go real sideways real fast. But before we do engage with this event chain, there's a few other boxes I would like to check. For one, of course, I would like to set up our colony over here at 12E, and apart from that, I would like to explore all of these other planets as well, see what their event chains have to offer, see how much science we can gather, and just how much we can complete researching before we do engage with the Piranesi, whatever form that might end up taking. So yeah, there's a couple stuff that needs doing, but at the same time, I don't want to wait too long, because of course the longer we're at this system, the more likely we are to see hits to our stability, and the longer we take, the lower our actual surpluses are going to get. I hesitate to say that because, let's be real here, there are so many resources available in this system as well that I don't think that's going to be a problem. I can say that with relative confidence as well. Nonetheless, folks, very quickly as we dive into the session today, I want to say a huge thank you to all of y'all for joining me on this immense journey. This is episode 30. That means we're at about 30 hours of gameplay in this series, and I want to thank you for your just look, I love reading through the comments. I've always read through all the comments, and they bring me such joy because I love seeing your panicked thoughts. I love seeing your theories. I love seeing where your head's at. It's all so fun. And I want to say thank you for joining me in this journey, and for throwing in your own opinions and thoughts and worries and all that good stuff. I really do just, I enjoy it so much. I also want to say thank you, of course, for those likes and comments. And folks, if you've been enjoying the series, which I assume if you're here for 30 hours of gameplay, you're at least somewhat entertained. But if you are enjoying the series and you would like to see it to its conclusion, please don't hesitate to keep leaving those likes and comments down below. I intend to finish this playthrough. I've been having so much fun, but seeing your likes and comments just gives me a read on what people are enjoying on the channel, what I should do more or less of, or how I should adjust my approach to make sure everyone's having a good time. Beyond that as well, of course, I just want to mention really quickly, folks, the ongoing series like this are hugely supported by channel members, channel patrons, and super thanks. They make a huge difference because as a series goes on and on for longer, viewership dwindles. It's just kind of, part and parcel of the process. Totally understandable, of course, but it's channel members, channel patrons, and super thanks that help supplement the drop in viewership and keep these long-running series viable, possible, keep them, as I like to say, alive and running smoothly. So with that said, folks, if you would like to support the channel and the series in that way, you can find a link to my Patreon and to channel membership in the description down below. If you want to become a channel member, you can just click the join button that's right underneath the video. And if you would rather drop a super thanks, you can click the heart-shaped button that's right next to the join button underneath the video. As always, there's no pressure, there's no obligation. Please don't feel that way. Your likes, your comments, your engagement it brings me so much joy. So don't feel like there's some extra pressure there or anything at all. But I just wanted to say thank you for that extra support because it does, again, like I said, help make these kinds of long-running series viable and possible. So if you would like to support in that way, those options are laid out for you. I've been told I should mention it more often, which is why I try to mention it every once in a while. But with that said, let's go ahead and get this party started, shall we? Let's launch a probe down to over here to just scout out additional resources. We've pretty much found all the planets there are to find. We've found all the points of interest there are to find. And while we don't need resources right now, it doesn't hurt to know where exactly they're situated for the time when we do need to go chasing after them, right? So sure, let's go ahead and launch some of these probes out to find all these resource deposits, to find what else is left to be found, because otherwise these probes are just sitting there looking pretty. And why do that, right? Why do that? Now, we have some work to be done up over here at 12J, but before we actually make a decision with regards to the mirrors and the tunnel, I'm going to wait until our current research is completed. Again, we are chasing after the automatic ship repatriation, which should help the Fermi survive if push comes to shove, and it's a worst case scenario out there with the mirrors. With that said, though, I want to point out another thing. When the time comes to engage with the Piranesi, we might have to do a bit of dancing around, because I quite love the name Fermi, and I know I mentioned that at length last session, but it's true. I really like the name Fermi. We got really unlucky with a couple of back-to-back names, a Francis, a Lightbulb. Didn't like those names. So, when the time comes to investigate the Piranesi's event chain over here, I want to make sure we send the Francis, because I'm fairly confident, let's call it with 95% certainty this time, that whichever science ship actually engages with this event chain is destined for destruction. Again, I would love to be proven wrong. It would make me so happy if I am wrong about this. But again, I just got that gut feeling that, this won't end well for whoever goes to investigate. So, in the interest of keeping Fermi around, we'll send the Francis in instead. I feel kind of terrible for saying that, because I'm not knowingly sending a ship to its doom, but I'm fairly confident that doom awaits them, and I'm being picky and choosy based on the ship's name. Can you imagine if you were a member of the crew of either of these ships, and that's how your administrator made the call on who to send in? My God, I don't think I'd be able to sleep at night, to be honest. As the administrator, it would, my goodness. But it's a decision I think I'm going to make. Not anytime soon, but I'm just putting the thought out there because I needed to get it off my chest. Nonetheless, over to 12E, where our colony has been established, and it looks like everything is fine. The temporary test colony has now been established. The colonists will periodically transmit reports on their progress. These will provide us with valuable field data. Cool. NDLP, leave the planet, and let's go ahead and send the Francis to investigate this unknown structure, which, if we take a look at the illustration at the top right corner over there, looks like it is in fact a body field. Like an asteroid field, except with bodies. I really hope there are some answers here. I really hope, oh God. I hope whatever caused this doesn't stick around to make it happen to the Francis as well. Let's go ahead and investigate the unknown structure. I'm hoping for answers. I'm hoping for a glimpse into the potential future over here, maybe further technologies that we could research to prepare us for the Piranesi as we were seeing in the previous system. I'm not sure what to expect, but I'm about to find out. Let's check out this unknown structure. Our probe has detected a Dolos signal. Oh. Transmission from the Francis. There's some wreckage here, not much larger in size than the Francis. Contained within is a distress beacon. The emitted signal is incredibly similar to those that the Tiqqun uses. Well, that's interesting. Didn't the ship that was launched after us, wasn't that how far did that get? Didn't it only get as far as the second system we operated in? The first one after our own solar system. I can't remember now. Well, this is interesting. Was there another project that we were unaware of? Either way, we could investigate the wreck, get some answers. The Francis team will attempt to learn more about the origin of the wreck. That probably is a good idea. Dismantle the wreck to recover any extractable resources. Not in a rush for that. Or we could just leave the area. No, investigate the wreck. I'm curious as to what's going on over here. Because I'm pretty sure the... correct me if I'm wrong, but the Etamananki took out the... Oh, right, of course, it was an entire event chain. The Pythagoras, which I kept thinking about as the Pythagoras, the Pythagoras was our successor, and that ship was in, the second system, after having been attacked by the Etamananki. And then the Etamananki was what we came across in the previous system. And they had the coordinates for Remus, which the Piranesi had taken. And that's why we came here, because the Piranesi has the coordinates for Remus, right? Am I remembering that correctly? I believe that's the situation. So which Dolos ship came out to here? Investigate the wreck. I'm very curious. Yeah, search the Piranesi for the Remus coordinates. Am I misremembering something? I guess this is what happens when you play on and off every other day for 30 hours straight. Some things start to get fuzzy. But I'm fairly confident, yeah, the Pythagoras, that ship was our successor, and that ship was in System 2. Not our solar system, but the one after it. And then we left that system and came across the previous system, which was the Etamananki's wreckage. And now we're here. Yeah, what is... Okay, alright. I mean, again, I've been saying it since the beginning. There's like more going on than meets the eye, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if there were like other missions and competition within the Dolos Corporation or something like that. Anyway, it is what it is. We'll find out soon enough, I suppose. I should say. And in what? A cycle's time? Well, it's not going to be that fast because we don't generate science that quickly, but in about, well, let's say 3-4 cycles time, we'll have automatic ship repatriation available, and then we'll investigate the mirrors and hope for the best. I'm being overly cautious, maybe, but it doesn't hurt to do that every once in a while. With that said, though, opening the screen does remind me, many of you were suggesting that we maybe improve our rate of colonization training, and not a bad idea. I don't know if it's a rush to the point of researching and investing so much tech into it. I wonder if there's other stuff that I would like to prioritize instead. Like maybe making our docking base a bit faster. That doesn't seem all that necessary either. Oh, the drone bay upgrades, I guess, should take a bit of a priority position. So sure, let's get foldable architecture happening next. But on the topic of the colonization training center, some of you were also suggesting that I should pick up the pace of training colonists. And that's a good point. Because the numbers have been escalating, and there's obviously a reason why we have so many non-workers on board the Tiqqun. You can't do anything with them apart from turn them into colonists, or of course, get waste and stuff from them when you've got the right policies and technologies in place. But what else is there to do with non-workers? There's got to be a reason why we have so many of them. So presumably we're going to need that many colonists, or at least half as many colonists as we have non-workers, or whatever it might be. So let's go ahead and actually get them training automatically, because at this point in time, I'm fairly comfortable with the number of electronics we have, and consuming one electronics every 5 cycles is fine. Is perfectly fine. But yes, we just need to keep an eye on our non-worker count here in Sector 3. Right now we have 455, so it'll be quite a few cycles before that non-worker count reaches 0, and at that point in time we'll have to bring some non-workers in from Sector 5 or Sector 2 or even Sector 1 just to keep the training process going, right? But that's a good point. There's no reason not to train these guys. What else are we doing with non-workers, right? So let's get that party started. Let's get the ball rolling there, and let's take a look at the unknown structure over here to see if it does have any knowledge or answers or glimpses into the potential power of the Piranesi. Oh. Not surprised about the cryonic pods over there. The team has identified the fragmented wreck as a part of the Tiqqun. A large amount of Faust tachyons were detected in the area, as well as the frozen corpse of Tiqqun crew member Hermann Oppenheimer. Wait. Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer was one of our science ship guys. Hang on. Okay, well, I should keep reading first. Reviewing DLS data confirms that Hermann Oppenheimer is alive and well on the station. Oh, okay. Tiqqun engineers have also verified that the components and plating found at the wreck are still in their proper place in the Tiqqun. The team of the Francis sees this as a warning, spelled out in an inscription they found on a piece of floating metal. Let's not make the mistakes we know are possible. Wait, what? Hold on. My brain was not ready for this. So, at first I thought it was referencing an Oppenheimer that I thought we lost. But maybe I'm mistaken. We've lost so many lives now. But I remember the name Oppenheimer, right? Though it looks like this Hermann Oppenheimer is still alive on the station, so this must be a different Oppenheimer. It's a common enough last name, I suppose. Okay. But then the components and plating found at the wreck are still in their proper place in the Tiqqun. Is this definitely the Tiqqun? I identified it as a part of the Tiqqun. Was there a Tiqqun 1.0 and we're at 2.0? But no, that doesn't make any sense, because then the moon would have... Hang on. hang on. What is going on? Are we dealing with... No, that doesn't make any sense. I was gonna say, it's like, are we dealing with like some multiverse stuff? But that doesn't make any sense, because why are we like intersecting? Does it have something to do with the Faust tachyons? Oh, there's also been the increased like space madness, right? Is there like an inflection point in timelines or something? Are we seeing like an alternate universe Tiqqun? Or is this not a part of the Tiqqun? Now, I gotta take that at face value. The game says it's been identified as a part of the Tiqqun. I have to take that as the truth, because otherwise, what's the point of saying that, right? Like, what? Am I missing something here? If any of you have any insight, please do share in the comments, because I can't think of any logical explanation. Again, it's not like something got ripped off of our hull, because we still have it. Where'd it go? Components and plating found are still in their proper place in the Tiqqun. I don't know what this is. The team also sees this as a warning, spelled out in a literal inscription they found on a piece of floating metal. Let's not make the mistakes we know are possible. What does that mean? What does any of this mean? Nonetheless, let's dismantle the wreck and have some additional resources available close to us, I suppose. But before we do that, let's go ahead and swallow up all that science. That's 170 plus science. That's going to go a very long way in helping us and allowing us to push further with 12J, having researched our repatriation protocols and stuff. I was not ready for that. What? My head is like absolutely done in right now. I'm trying to figure out how to interpret that. It hasn't triggered any events over here. Didn't unlock any new technology, because we'd get a pop-up for that. Yeah, okay, I have no clue. I gotta think about that when I'm not trying to record an episode. That's not sure what to make of that. If we wanted to chase after interlocking probes, we would need foldable architecture. Okay, we're working on that. Self-dismantling needs interlocking probes. The breath needs interlocking probes as well. Oh, okay, so we're now just going down the straight line of drone bay upgrades. We're not reliant on any upgrades elsewhere. I was just wondering if there's anything else I want, like faster repairs or power overloads have a lower chance of generating accidents. Actually, that's maybe not a bad idea. Sure, why don't we go ahead and queue up mechs repair buildings 25% faster? Because, you know, damaged buildings hurt our hull and stuff, right? Like they apply a negative to our balance per cycle, and hull integrity is already kind of low, I guess. Sure. Again, running out of things to chase after in terms of research. We'll figure it out. Nonetheless, picking a new thing means we're ready to pick something over here at 12J, and God, I've seen your comments. I've seen passionate pushes, let's call them, for either decision. It's funny, if memory serves me correctly, I don't think anybody who voiced an opinion was on board with simply leaving the planet, and I understand. This is one of those cases where I think curiosity is going to kill the cat. This just sounds way too ominous. It just sounds way too troubling for it not to end poorly. But I think we're going to go ahead and break the mirrors. Based again on the comments that I've read and my own interpretation of the situation at hand, if the whole reflection thing is causing unease among the crew, maybe we should get rid of that problem and keep investigating. Though I do wonder, like, if these mirrors are actually like mirrors, will those shards, you know, cause trouble? Is this going to be controlled breakage? I've always tried to avoid explosions and things like that because, you know, that's just asking for trouble. I think we'll have trouble either way, but let's break the mirrors as we proceed further into the tunnel, just to bring people at ease and hopefully avoid any mental breakdowns or whatever it might be. So sure, break the mirrors and hope for the best. One cycle is all it'll take. That sound effect was unexpected. And I did not like that sound effect. That follow-up sound effect, I'm not a fan of. That, that is a little concerning. That is a little concerning. Okay, fair enough. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. Speeding time up a little bit, just so we can collect all these science up over here as quickly as possible. Got to keep an eye on our tech lab as well, just to make sure we're assigning stuff at all times. We do have some stuff lined up, so that's good. Solar panels have another upgrade available to them to increase their production too. Oh, you know what? We'll queue that up next. Sure, why not? And then we'll go ahead and make progress down the drone bay. Get the drone bay operating that much more effectively. Again, we have a bunch of resources, but what difference does it make if they're in the wrong places, right? So sure, let's go ahead and do that. Training colonists, yes. Training automatically, yes. We have plenty of non-workers here, yes. So it'll be a long time before we have to adjust anything there. And if we go back to the system map, we will see what? Still plenty of science to be collected up over here. Lots more being generated at this colony as well, which is great to see. We'll return to it when it's all done. There's still other stuff to explore south of the storm before we have to go back to the colony and pick up the science they're generating for us. But separately, I wonder if I want to start picking up some of the silicon, because that's the one thing that we don't have capped, right? There's plenty of it nearby, so why don't we go ahead and get a couple of these guys out there. Quicksilver, Pandora, Zoti, and Aldana. Zoti, actually, you stay back. These three can go and grab some silicon, and then we'll at least get some work done over here. Augmented building protocols has been unlocked. Let's go ahead and queue up our next upgrade as well, so that I don't get distracted and things don't sit idle. Interlocking probes increases drone capacity. Sounds good to me. Queue you up after our solar panel upgrade. And with that done, let's see what's happened up over here at 12J. Please, please, please let them live. God damn it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. It was so, I knew it. I knew it. The vital signs of the team were lost soon after they began to shatter the mirrored surfaces of the tunnel. Nori Makoto's remained for a time and was tracked moving quickly towards the tunnel's entrance. Onboard cameras of the Fermi recorded a headless body tumbling out of the tunnel. Nori Makoto's vital sign tracker then began moving back down the tunnel, accelerating before ceasing to emit. Dolo's trackers are implanted within the helmets of crew suits. It can be assumed that Nori Makoto was decapitated before being able to leave the tunnel. What? Decapitated by what? By like shattered mirrors? By what? I gotta Occam's razor this, right? When they were shattering the mirrors, something must have happened and they all had their heads cut off. Is the logical explanation here, right? This really sucks, man. This really sucks. End the data listening protocol, but we should be able to repatriate the Fermi, or we could still declare it lost. Interesting. That tells you there would be some events where you would rather just be like, no, blow that thing up. I mean, we've been through one such event already, so to speak, just in a different format, I guess. But no, bring the Fermi back, because I like its name so much. God, I feel even worse about that now. Repatriate the Fermi. Let's go. Ship repatriated, science ship, and the data listening protocol. It is on its way back. Okay, I was wondering if it teleported or if it's going to physically move. And of course it's going to physically move, which means we need to do what? Oh god, this is not good. This is not good. Cancel all of you. The timing of this is actually terrible. Bring everybody back. Because what I need to do is I need to send the Tiqqun up to 12H so the science ship actually comes over there. There are no crew members, so I can't give it any orders. It's on autopilot. Alright, these ships are actually not that far away. It's not like I can tell it to stop at 12H and then pick it up there. But hopefully, mining ships gonna move quickly enough that I can send the Tiqqun up to 12H to intercept the Fermi before it goes through the storm and gets into a lot of trouble. Oh, this is not good. This guy over here, the Gluttony. All right, can I send the Gluttony somewhere? Here, let's do this. The Gluttony. And because this guy is... I just got to figure out my timings, right? Like, I want to make sure I pick that ship up before it comes into the storm. Am I better off going up to 12D, and then it'll reroute to head up this way, and is more likely to avoid the storm completely, and while we're going up that way, maybe some of these ships will catch us. Okay, alright, let's give it a bit more time here. Just want at least some of these guys, the Barnacle, for example, to arrive. And we have to investigate the unknown structure as well. But first... Come on, come on, come on. Move a little bit faster than that. Barnacle, Cataphract, come through. Come on. Come on. There we go. One more. Buddy over here is going to have to chase us, I guess. Okay, cool. Let's move. So Tiqqun, up to 12D. All this to save a science ship. Kind of ridiculous, I know. Forgive me, but let's move. I can't believe I'm putting so much effort into saving a science ship. It doesn't even have people on it. I just like the name Fermi, man. I'm a big fan of you know, like Fermi's Paradox and all that stuff. Can't help myself. Let's move and let's hope for the best over here. Still heading down this way. Now the Tiqqun does move relatively quickly, and this should be recalculating its... Oh, it's not. Ooh, I don't like that. It is still heading towards this planet. No, it's not. No, it's not. It is heading towards the Tiqqun. So it is adjusting its course, but is it adjusting it quickly enough? I don't think so. This is awfully close. This is gonna be extremely close. Come on, buddy, a little bit faster. I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm here regretting... Oh, I did upgrade my EKP engine. So this is us moving as fast as we can move, and it's still not fast enough to prevent a potential disaster over here. Through the storm we go. Come on, come on, we gotta do this. This is cutting it real close, folks. I think we'll be okay. Come on, a little bit. Just a little bit further. Just a little bit further. I don't want it to enter the storm. It takes a split second. Okay, looks like we're good. Oh, thank God. After all that effort, I would have been at least a little upset if we lost the Fermi anyway. But it looks like we've got it. Or it's not registering yet. But there we go. Okay, cool. It's picked up all the crew. Okay. Okay, in an ideal world, we would have actually brought the Francis with us and swap them around right now, but it's not an ideal world, is it? It is not an ideal world. Let's go ahead and investigate this unknown structure, see what it has to offer, and then see how we can maybe adjust things. This mining ship, the Gluttony, can I tell you to do something and then you'll stop following me? Yes, okay, good. Ooh, not ideal. Let's get you picking up ice instead. I'm gonna keep these guys alive. Sure, that sounds good. Okay, cool. So, what are we doing here? The Fermi needs to go back out towards 12F, I suppose. And it might be, you know, we might be able to dance around the storm a little bit. Okay, sure. So Fermi, over to 12F. Off you go. And as you're doing that, the Tiqqun, should it return down to 12E? Why? I guess for all the mining ships and stuff. Really, I could have brought everybody up with me, but this guy had to be left behind. If I'd brought everybody up with me, I could have stayed up over here while this science ship danced around down there. You know, I could still do that. Don't know why I'm fussing over this so much. I apologize. No, not to collect, but to mine. Make you a priority, and then you should turn around. Yeah, cool. And then all of our ships will be operating up over here. And I suppose I could continue to at least mine the iron and stuff, right? So that when the time comes, it's just a matter of picking it up as opposed to mining it as well. Yeah, that sounds good to me. That sounds good to me. Do we have more silicon up over here? We do. Go ahead and... Oh, that's for collection. Oh, we got plenty up over here as well. That needs mining. Okay. So why don't we go ahead and do this? There you go. Off they go to mine. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, cool. Down over here, the unknown structure. What do you have to offer? Did I not tell them to dismantle the wreck? Did I not tell them to dismantle the wreck? I thought I did. We'll go for it now. And it occurs to me the cryonic pods are over there. And And those are actually a priority. Those are actually a priority. Because I want to try and get more workers. Sorry for the flip-flopping, folks. My apologies. Now, why do we not have a new probe, actually? I saw an issue over here. Oh, it's because we're stockpiling electronics now, not polymers. Mainly for training colonists. Let's go ahead and keep flipping back and forth as necessary, I guess. Again, I could always build an additional stockpile, like over here or something. I'm trying to avoid that. Or might be a necessity, just to keep things running smoothly without the need for micromanagement. Nonetheless, over to the system map now, and over to this unknown structure. There we go. Ooh, hello. What is this? Did I not tell it to scrap the wreck? I'm really kind of confused here. Oh, you know what? Right, I was waiting to collect the science. That's what it was, right? Jeez, I'm sorry. So rattled by the mirrors and the situation with the Fermi. The wreck has been successfully dismantled. Recovered resources are ready for cargo ship pickup. There's no trace left of the strange phenomena. What strange phenomena? Of the warning signs? Ready for extraction. We got some alloys, some electronics. That's not important. We got plenty of that stuff already. But we also have sedation cell upgrade for cell housing. And the DLP, leave the area. Everyone's still okay. I just want to take a quick look at our tech tree over here. And I want to make sure we have something queued up. Where is my drone bay? Go ahead and research you. Go ahead and queue you up. And the nuclear power plant, what do we have? Hydrogen fire starter to reduce power cost. Oh yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. Worker analytics for the polymer refinery is needed first though. But I also want to take a look at cell housing, sedation cell. Capacity of housing is increased by 60%. Ooh, boy. We might need cell housing. I've been trying to keep everyone in demotic quarters as best as possible. Many of you have pointed out that a few people in cell housing is not a problem. It's only when it's too many people in cell housing where it starts to become a problem, which we'll obviously try and avoid. But I was trying to avoid cell housing in general because it just sounds so horrifying, I suppose. Sedation cell? I mean, come on. That sounds terrible. All this sounds terrible. False perspective? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But this seems to be inevitable, especially when you consider how many cryonic pods are waiting for pickup over here. We got, what was it? Like, was it 800 or something? 800, yeah. So, realistically speaking, we're going to need cell housing, I think. Let's pull that guy back as well. And let's go ahead and head down to 12E, I guess. That sounds good to me. Wait for that ship to arrive, and then we'll investigate 12F as well. Ugh, my goodness. So many moving parts. All right, Tiqqun, down to 12E. Yes. Not too worried about how many cycles we are without our solar panels. We're doing perfectly fine on the battery front, so that's all well and good. But yes, over here to 12F to see what this has to offer instead. Probably more death and devastation. 12F has an average temperature of 112 Kelvin. A number of hot spots were detected across its surface. We have landed on 12F. Its surface is covered in ice, and the planet is bathed in a red mist around 100 meters in height. Numerous ice formations pierce the mist and extend skyward. The atmosphere radiates a blue light when illuminated by the system's pulsar. So we could either perform intrusive analysis, we could either set up a temporary study center, or we could establish infrastructure to support advanced analysis. We are going to establish infrastructure to support advanced analysis, but of course we cannot do that until we have those resources moving, safely to this planet. Now, I do wonder if we stay at 12C, yeah, we should be able to go from 12C to 12F with, without having to go through the storm. So the Tiqqun, after it arrives at 12E, will make its way towards 12C, and then we can get a move on with 12F. Okay. At the same time, the Francis, what are you up to? You're just kind of chilling there, right? Yeah. Let's get the Francis coming down to 12L. Kind of risky because it's going through the storm there. Let's go to 12E first, and then we'll head to 12L. Let's try that. Much better. That should be a safe route. And the Tiqqun, let's get you moving, buddy, over to 12C. How long will that be? 4.5 cycles. I do believe we have enough batteries for that. We got 5.5, 6.6, 6.6, 9.3, and 6.2. We're good. All right, let's move. Just because, again, I don't want to lose a cargo ship in an effort to build an analysis station or whatever they're called, right? So, not be too hasty. What's going on over here? Why are you... What does this mean?
Caution. Entering stellar storm.
Of course, as I'm like nervous about an icon over here, I get a caution audio cue. Where's the Francis right now? It's almost here at the 12L. Okay, good stuff. 12F, we're just waiting. Cool. Cool. Self-dismantling has been unlocked. Fair enough. Take a look at our tech lab over here. Drone bay upgrades are almost all done. Cool. Reduced hull deterioration while moving. That doesn't sound like a bad idea, does it? Yeah, let's queue you up. We're moving a lot. This system. We're moving a lot, so it doesn't hurt. And we could get these steel fiber patches afterwards as well. Again, sounds like a good idea. Sure. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. I could then queue up the polymer refineries worker analytics, improving production speed. Again, not a necessity per se, but that would allow us to get our what's it called, hydrogen fire starter, to reduce the power cost of the nuclear power plant. So there's stuff to do, I suppose. We got to keep flipping this back and forth, right, to supply it with. I think it's time to build another stockpile here. Wanted to kind of avoid that for so long, but I don't think there is any avoiding it anymore. So sure, let's go ahead and build a stockpile. I could even make it a medium one. Is there any value in that though? I don't think so. Let's go with a small stockpile over here, sure, and we'll store electronics over here, I think, and keep this one for polymers, because then electronics are, you know, shipped up to there, the short distance, and it's right next to the alternative life center, which, you know, kind of feels right, whereas the polymers are available right next to the probe launcher where the polymers are actually needed. So let's go ahead and do that. That sounds good to me. Yeah, I guess it was inevitability, but we held on for as long as we could. We've arrived at 12C, which means we are ready to establish infrastructure to support advanced analysis at 12F. This will do what? Setting up infrastructure capable of supporting exploration and geological analysis will allow the Fermi's team to map the site's topography and molecular composition. Despite being a time-consuming approach, the team will analyze a large amount of data with the help of dedicated PA to ensure the generation of statistically robust reports. Sounds good. Alloys and electronics all readily available to the Zotti, so let's go ahead and assign you. And hopefully our docking bays aren't backed up, and hopefully we're able to move these resources quickly. Where is Sector 4? The Zotti is stationed where here? Yeah, they'll be fine. They got plenty of room now, especially with all the upgrades that we put in place. We should be just fine. It's just a matter of how much can the Zotti actually carry in one round trip. Is it enough to make it in one round trip, or will it have to be multiple? Nonetheless, let's speed time up because things are overall pretty calm, actually. Again, plenty of science to pick up over here. So once we are done... Where's the Francis right now? 12L. Oh, right, there was no event chain here. Very confused. I was like, I don't remember giving a decision because there was none to give. It was just the science to pick up. Okay, well, we're done there. So let's head back to 12E, I suppose. Or let's go to 12C now, investigate the situation over here, and then we'll make our way to 12E. Hopefully by that point in time, it's, you know, done, though I highly doubt it. This stuff does take a fair bit of time, but we'll be able to pick up whatever science they're willing to offer us, I suppose. And then we're that much closer to actually, yeah, dealing with the Piranesi. I suppose we could pick up the science at the center of the system first, though going that close to a pulsar doesn't sound like a good idea. We'll go ahead and do that, and then we can investigate the Piranesi. Holy crap. Moving a little bit faster than I'd anticipated, actually. Heart palpitations kicking off again. But we'll be fine. We'll be fine. What's the worst that could happen, right? What's the worst that could happen? Why do we have so much power available? Oh, right. We've upgraded our solar panels. Right. We actually have plenty of power available. And that's without any of our nuclear power plants active. So we got plenty of power available, which is good to see. Over to 12C over here as soon as the science has been collected. And then we can make a decision with regards to fractals. First readings of 12C indicate the presence of extremely intense meteorological activity on the planet. Initial imagery captures hexagonally shaped cyclones. The planet's core appears to be surrounded by a layer of liquid hydrogen. Many moons orbit 12C, surrounded by clusters of asteroids in unusual arrangements. Unusual how? Transmission from the Francis team. Preliminary surveys have identified many telluric promontories emerging from 12C's ocean of liquid hydrogen. We should be able to establish a research site upon one of these promontories with the help of our gaseous planet exploration equipment. From this closer vantage point, we can see the asteroids that surround the planet's moons. They're almost perfectly spherical in shape. Oh man, that's a little concerning, isn't it? Nothing should be perfect. We've got our deep dive apparatus, which allows us to analyze the storms of 12C. Again, just because we have the technology available doesn't make this a safe thing to do, but this will allow the Francis team to land on one of the promontories emerging from 12C's hydrogen ocean and study the planet's intense meteorological activity. Sounds far too tempting to not engage with. Analyze the storms of 12C. Option unlocked by our deep dive apparatus. Go for it. 3 cycles it'll take. Sounds good to me. Meanwhile, our progress over here has begun. That was extremely quick. It's so nice to actually see stuff happen, you know, at a decent rate like that. We could launch another probe. This one's, again, just sitting here looking pretty, as I like to say. And I suppose we could launch the probe up over here. Plenty of resources up there. And we're avoiding the storm as well. If our mining ships can take the same path, then they'll be able to make some progress there too. But up over here, about half a cycle left, and then we'll see what 12F has to offer. My goodness. Such a strange position I find myself in. Can I move back up there? Should I move back up there to help pick up those cryonic pods? Our cargo ship has returned from 12F. You know what? We're going to stay here for a little bit longer, and I'll explain why when the time comes, which will be shortly. 12F, what do you have to offer here? Sample analysis indicates that the outgassing of nitrogen dioxide from below the surface of 12F and subsequent atmospheric mixing results in the red mist which dominates the planet's lower atmosphere. The team of the Fermi was also able to establish parallels between the datasets collected on CRU-CP43 and 12F's geological activity. Abnormal levels of Frostpunk tachyons were detected beneath the planet's surface, the cause of which remains unknown. Frostpunk tachyons have become extremely relevant in this system. They've come up over and over and over and over again here. Why? Like, they were mentioned at the beginning of our playthrough, like once or twice, and then they were mentioned maybe once in the previous system, and now it's like every event chain we engage with, Frostpunk tachyons are involved. Why? Nonetheless, plenty of science to pick up over here. So let's get to it before we actually leave. Pick all that up, and after we're done at 12C and 12F both, we'll do a bit of shuffling over here, and it'll be time to deal with the Piranesi. Almost. Still a bit of science to collect. Still a bit of work to be done as we've finished all of our research. Why don't we go ahead and research the Exo Fighting Dome? This is something we've talked about a little bit, where like I want to at least have access to it if I need it in an emergency. I don't want to have to deal with researching it as well as placing it. I also want to see how much room it actually takes, so we're able to plan around it. And it might not be a bad idea to get a hull temple going as well. I believe it was mentioned in the comments that the hull temple is one of those buildings that goes up against the side, like the side walls. So that's good to know as well, because that space is a lot more limited, obviously, right? So might not be a bad idea to invest in that, maybe even next. Was there something else? I feel like I've gotten distracted from initial plans. No, we should be fine. Hull temple. Let's queue you up as next. There's so much science in this system. There's so much science in this system, which is great to see. But yeah, back to the system map here. Let's speed time up once more. And we're still picking up stuff over there. 12C, are you ready for a decision? I suppose you must be. Let's see what our options are. The atmosphere of 12C is extremely hostile. While we were conducting our surveys, a cyclone rose up and pinned us down. Vlastislav Danchov, sorry, I'm used to like Vladislav, so that extra S is throwing me off. Vlastislav Danchov and myself were separated from the others. When the winds abated and gave us some respite, we did manage to regroup. However, the others, their suits are orange in color. It's not from environmental factors. They are insistent that Dolos has always had orange suits. This is clearly untrue, and Vlastislav Danchov and myself are wearing standard Dolos yellow. They are indeed our crewmates, and medical and psychological analysis does not reveal any deviance. Yo, what is going on in this system? What is going on in this system? We got, again, I was literally just talking about all the additional mention of Frostpunk, just over and over and over again. Now we've got this whole suit color thing. Then we had the other, you know, wreckage that we investigated. That was funky as well. There was the house earlier as well, right? From a couple of sessions ago now, where we went looking for our that one scientist. Forget her name now. And what is going on with this system? But I mean, ignore the house, because that's different. There are two things now having to do with these oddities about the Tiqqun and Dolos and Yo, my head my brain was not ready for this. Okay, end the DLP for now. Let's deliberate what this could mean as we pick up the science, because I see here we can leave the others. In accordance with Dulles security protocols, Leana, El-Kayam, Shinji Yu, and Amir Masood will be left behind, having undergone unidentified alteration, according to our security protocols. Okay, we could bring back the whole crew. The others will not be left behind, or we could, wow, leave everybody and simply bring the Francis back. Okay, well, we have to deliberate this decision a little bit. Let's go ahead and collect the science, and I don't know what the right call there is. Okay, you know what? No, that's not true. I know what the right call is. The right call is to, well, depends on your lens. The right call, I would say, is to bring them all back. We've repeatedly talked about how we want to make sure everyone is brought with us, no one left behind, etc., so on and so forth, right? All those lives that have been lost because of that line of thinking should not be lost in vain. And so we'll continue our that line of thinking, because otherwise it'd be almost unfair to the lives we lost earlier on, before, you know, we learned to be a bit smarter. Yes, I'm being extremely self-critical and facetious in some ways here, because look, logically, I should say I've learned that trying to save everybody is futile, and it's only going to cause us more hardships. So unfortunately, we're going to leave the crew behind, at least leave the others behind, bring the ship back, and they're a necessary sacrifice, because every time we try to save everybody, things go horribly wrong. Like, logically, that's justifiable. I think so, at least. But at the same time, my heart tells me that despite whatever funkiness happened on the planet, there's still people, and we should still try to leave no one behind. So I think we'll bring them back on. God, it could really go horribly wrong. It could really go horribly wrong. What's happening over here at Sector 5?
Important message from our colonization mission requires your attention.
Oh, looks like a colonization mission has completed as well, so that's quite decent timing. But we'll deal with that in a moment. There's some more pressing matters first. What is this event? Wow. Are you for real right now? Administrator, please, we must keep moving forward. The PSR B1257 system cannot be our final resting place. Dead Earth sickness is taking an irrevocable hold on the crew. A -2, a permanent -2. Now, I can't recall if other systems were also a permanent penalty for as long as we stayed in that system, or if this is separate from that. But either way, those were all -1. This is -2. Okay, acknowledged. Hang on. What is our situation right now? Sector 1, a stability of 1. Sector 2, stability of 2. Sector 3 is at 2. Sector 4 is at 1. And Sector 5 is at 3. Alright, so a couple of these guys are at stability of 1 right now. We're still okay. We're still okay. It's not the end of the world. But these aren't the 4s and 5s that I was reading just last session, I think it was. So I don't like that. I think, have to start considering our memorials and all that good stuff to help boost stability, or again, I could consider the Exo Fighting Dome, which gives us +2 stability in the sector, which can be extended to other sectors connected via train station, which is all of them. So the Exo Fighting Dome is very big, 12 by 12, 14 by 14. Oh, even bigger. I remember 12 by 12 from a comment. Maybe I'm misremembering, but that's where that number came from. But no, it's actually 14 by 14, which is huge. I think it's the biggest building. It's the biggest building. I think it's the biggest building. We need a new sector for it. It won't fit anywhere else. It won't fit anywhere else. We have to, if we want to build one of these, we have to get the next sector unlocked, which is fine. I just don't know if we need to do it right now. +2 stability. Okay, hang on. Let me just take a look over here. All right, so the -2 is replacing the -1 that we typically see. So that's good, because I was concerned that we get that -2 and then later on we'd get an additional -1. But fortunately, that won't happen. At least not from spending too long in the system. That's already capped at -2 now. Okay, that's at least some reassurance. But yes, we need to concern ourselves with some of these numbers. I mean, to be fair, with Sector 1, it's, you know, just that cryopod awakening policy causing a -3 there, so that's manageable. Sector 3, you're actually looking okay, I suppose. At least that -1 from discouraging results following 2 planet colonization tests didn't also escalate to a -2, right? Because we just... Oh, actually, hang on a second. It does take some time, if I recall correctly, for that to trigger. So, okay, this might actually get a little bit worse over the next handful of cycles. Yikes. Alright, okay. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. Let's go ahead and take a look at our tech tree real quick, because I want to make sure I've got something queued up. The Hull Temple is halfway done. We could chase after the observatory. I believe this also helps with stability, but it reduces maximum hull integrity by 25. Don't think I'm a fan of that, but it might not hurt to at least have it researched while we have such a massive stockpile of science. And then I might want to consider, yeah, some of our other options. Rouse tachyons again. I'm growing increasingly nervous of that term, of that technology. But nonetheless, back to our system map and over to 12C and 12F both to see what's going on. Let's go to 12F first, because it's been a little bit longer before since we've investigated that, and then we'll head down to 12C. Oh, right. It was just picking up science. We're done there. And down here, right, it was just deciding to bring back the whole crew. God, this is such a terrible idea. Well, let's do it. It's gonna cause some trouble, isn't it? It's gonna cause some trouble, I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Alright, Francis, I'm gonna send you up there. Fermi, back to the Tiqqun. Get the switch done. And then we'll move the Tiqqun over to 12E, and we'll start picking up some of these cryonic pods. Hopefully acquiring more workers more quickly and all that good stuff. Hopefully. 800, eh? 800. Yeah, I wonder if we'd be able to fit them in the sectors we already have, or if we're kind of being pushed to unlock that 6th sector at this point in time. And I feel as though Sector 5 right now still has plenty of room, right? Because we got room for 1, 2, 3 more demotic quarters over here. If we look at population management, Sector 5 currently has housing for 500 more people, give or take. 500 plus 3 times 112, 336, about 800. Okay, so actually, if we build the 3 demotic quarters over here, we'll have enough room for all the newcomers in Sector 5. Ooh, but there's another 369. Right, so we'll be just short, though a couple of units of cell housing will do the trick, or alternatively, we build some more housing in this sector over here, Sector 3, or of course Sector 2 as well. So we've got room for the newcomers and the old-timers in these cryonic pods as well, if need be. Fair enough. So, with that done, let's go ahead and move the Tiqqun over to 12E so that we can extremely quickly grab those cryonic pods without suffering from a negative penalty to stability from being around corpses. I still am assuming that there are corpses around here, and don't forget we also have the science to pick up from 12E itself, right? And our colonists too. There's a lot to do up over here, so let's go ahead and do that, and let's make sure back in the interior we are still dealing with training colonists. We are. This is automated. It's working smoothly. We're still seeing a surplus of electronics, so that's all well and good. Yeah, cool. All right, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. I mean, all of our resources are looking fantastic. It's great. I mean, I'm at such a loss. Now, food is at 144.6% of meal requirements, which means we're able to increase our population from 4,000 to, let's call it 6,000. If we add 800 plus 369, that's about 1,100. Takes us to 5,200. So we are still producing enough food for all the cryonic pods that are currently on board the Tiqqun, as well as all the cryonic pods that we're about to pick up. So we're fine. We're fine. That's wild to me that we've been fine for food for so long. I was so concerned when we started this playthrough that food was going to be an absolute nightmare, but nah, we've been good, man. We've been really good. Excellent. Meanwhile, if we take a look at our hull temple over here, requires an adjacent wall. Oh no, that is... Hang on a second. That is a funky layout. Why does that jut out like that? And it's 4 wide too. Oh man. That is... Oh, that's not ideal. That is not ideal. And I assume it needs a clear back wall as well, just because of the size of it, yeah. Dang. I was not prepared for that kind of a structure. At all. At all. It won't fit anywhere. It won't fit anywhere, eh? And what does it do again? Provides +1 stability as long as the cult is active in that system. Fair enough. Fair enough. That looks dope. Of course, I get a warning as soon as I take a moment to appreciate our surroundings. Get a warning. Let's go ahead and take a look at the system map real quick as we travel through the storm over here. Let's send the, not the Fermi, the Francis over to the Pulsar. Right? Because why are we waiting? For no good reason. So over to the Pulsar we go. Skating very close by the Piranesi over here, but I think we'll be fine. Then we'll deal with the Piranesi. Yeah, okay, cool. Almost time. Almost time. Let's get through the storm, and we'll launch the Fermi to investigate the colony over here, pick up all that science, and we'll start picking up all these cryonic pods as well as the, of course, colonists. Lots to do in this area. Almost out. There we go. The Fermi then can head towards 12E. Kind of like got launched off the Tiqqun, I suppose, and started from over there instead. Sounds good. And why don't we go ahead and actually get our cryonic pod pickups happening as well. We want them where? What sector? Does it matter? Sector 4 has more of the storage. Well, actually, I should say Sector 4 is the only place apart from Sector 1 with cryonic pod storage. So, let's get all of you guys working on picking up those not colonists, sorry, the cryonic pods. And then we'll get Cornucopia, sure, picking up the colonists instead. And we'll, shift them around as necessary when the time comes. That sounds reasonable to me. The other alternative is, of course, to increase the population of Sector 4 a bit further by having them chase after the colonists instead. Yeah, I think we're fine as we are right now. Sector 2 gaining some more population doesn't really make a difference. If Sector 3 actually has its population pushed up by another 80, give or take, they'd get an improved buff from the alternative life center, right? Because of our technology. So that's something to keep in mind, I suppose, but we'll deal with that later. For the time being, let's do this. This should be fine. Close that window, and hopefully everyone is a safe distance out. Yeah, there we go. All right, pods being picked up en masse. And the Fermi has arrived here as well. We'll let it pick up the science first. Or actually, no, you know what? Because I want to make sure the colonists are moving right away, why don't we go ahead and investigate and repatriate the colonists? We're not going to sever communications. That would be terrible. We have completed our colonial study of PSR B1257 plus 12E. Colonization success rates of planets like 12E are estimated to be 34.8%. Please authorize extraction preparation. Repatriate the colonists. Bring them back home. Decent success chance. Hopefully that doesn't upset people. It'll take about a cycle to get them ready for extraction. Oh, look at that. How many do we have left over here? We went from 800 to 434. Those those cargo ships are getting some work done. That's great to see. All right, cool. Meanwhile, up over here, we are collecting the science from the pulsar. Nothing's happened yet. So that's good. That's good. And separately, I suppose I should... dang, do what? Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Let's go ahead and take a look at resource management really quickly. Sector 1. Let's get you chasing 0 cryonic pods. Move them all to Sector 4. So that we can kind of reshuffle. Because we know the cryonic pods that were at Sector 1, we know that none of them are workers. Right? So hopefully by sending them over to Sector 4, and then bringing a new batch over to Sector 1, we'll have a slightly higher chance, at least, of having workers to wake up first. Because otherwise our policy is completely useless. I don't know if this will work as I'm hoping, but might as well try, right? Might as well try. Also, let's go ahead and turn some of these things off, because it's been on and it's really kind of bothering me, if I'm completely honest with you. There we go. Just a little bit cleaner. All right, cool. So we also have access to a new structure. That is the observatory, which we're not going to be building, but I just want to see what it looks like. Let's head on down to Sector 5 over here. Observatory, again, it reduces our hull integrity, which is not something I want to do, and it is actually quite a large building as well. All for what? An increase in stability by 1 by 1. If we take a look at our tech tree over here, these guys do have some upgrades. Praise it, feed it, be it. This is Technologic by Daft Punk. Ooh, each hull template increases the hull's maximum integrity by 10. Ooh, it's not bad. Power cost is reduced by 1. Provides an extra +1 stability. Okay, it's not bad. It's not bad. Exo Fighting Dome, History of Violence, provides an additional +1 stability when the station has more than 3,000 crew members. Oh, wow, +3? And does that apply just in the one sector or across the whole station? That's huge. High Capacity Terraces gives another +1 if we cross the 5,000 crew member threshold. Yikes. Those are kind of hard to say no to, I gotta be honest with you. Health Center. Recovery rate improvements. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. What else do we have? The Observatory. Exposure filters. Extra stability. Extra stability. Fair enough. What do we research next, though? I guess worker analytics can be researched for higher production rate of polymers, not that we need them. And then we've got hydrogen fire starter that we can queue up once that tech is done. Sure, that sounds good to me. So that's all well and good. We are shifting cryonic pods over to Sector 4, again, in the hopes of shuffling things up a little bit. And you are, in fact, yes, storing cryonic pods. So we should be good on that front. Taking a look at the system map, we're making some good progress over here. This repatriation preparation is almost done. Let's take a look at what's happening at 12E. 200. I forgot it was 200 colonists. Prepared for extraction. Waiting for cargo ship retrieval. Sounds good. End data listening protocol. And let's go ahead and collect all that science. Right? What are you doing? Yeah, cool. Collecting the science as we very quickly bring all of these colonists back to the Tiqqun as well. Excellent. So that's happening over here. Meanwhile, the Francis has done all of its work as well, collecting the science at the center of the system, which means, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to dive into the Piranesi. Not now, of course. We've crossed that 1 hour threshold that I like to try and keep episodes to. It's going to be next time. Bit of a cliffhanger. Honestly, bit of an unintentional cliffhanger, but timing's just worked out somewhat perfectly here. I was even playing at 3 speed for so long, hoping to get to it this session, but I don't mind this. I don't mind this. 30 episodes have led up to this moment, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. Folks, again, and as always, if you've been enjoying the series, if you enjoyed this episode, please don't hesitate to let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. And as I was saying earlier, if you'd like to support the channel beyond your likes and comments and sharing and all that, you might want to consider becoming a channel member, a channel patron, or you might want to consider leaving a super thanks. Links to all that in the description down below, or of course the buttons below the video, as I was saying earlier. With that said, and with some real stress in my heart about how things are going to play out next session, folks, I want to say thank you for watching, and of course a massive thanks to all the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. That keeps us alive and running smoothly, and of course a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.